OpenAI just slashed voice AI latency by 40%. Amazon Bedrock is letting AI agents pay for things themselves. And Google DeepMind is proving AI isn't just hype with real, measurable ROI across a dozen domains. We're digging into what actually matters if you're building products right now. No BS AI briefing, brought to you by Proactive AI. Welcome back. I'm your host, Vikash Sharma, and this is where builders get straightforward AI news without the fluff. First up today, OpenAI dropped some significant updates around their voice models and their responses API, making voice agents far more practical for real world applications. They've launched three new voice models: GPT Realtime 2, GPT Realtime Translate, and GPT Realtime Whisper, all accessible through their new real-time API. But the real game changer here, in my opinion, is the WebSocket execution mode for their responses API. This isn't just a minor tweak. We're talking about a 40% lower latency and the capability to handle over 1,000 transactions per second. For builders, this is huge. It means you can now develop low latency tool calling voice agents that feel genuinely conversational, not clunky and delayed. And because it's WebSocket based, complex stateful agents that remember context and can manage multi-step interactions, they're finally becoming viable for production. OpenAI is also being very transparent with pricing, like $32 per 1 million input tokens for GPT Realtime 2 and per minute rates for the Translate and Whisper models. This clarity, it simplifies your ROI modeling significantly, making it easier to justify building these experiences. Next, Amazon Bedrock introduced something called Agent Core Payments, which is frankly a wild foundational step for the agentic economy. This is a preview launch, but it enables AI agents to transact autonomously. Think about that for a second. We're talking about micropayments via USDC, facilitated by a protocol called X402, with wallet infrastructure powered by Coinbase and Stripe. What does this mean in plain English? Your AI agents can now be given a budget, fundable with fiat money or stable coins, and they can execute payments directly in their operational loop. They'll use an HTTP 4 or 2 code to signal payment requests. For builders, this is the first managed platform that really enables autonomous agent payments. It unlocks entirely new business models where agents can pay for access to APIs, data, or various services on a pay-as-you-go basis. It's laying down the economic groundwork for a truly autonomous agent economy, and frankly, that's a pretty big deal. Also, today, Google DeepMind published some really compelling results from their Alpha Evolve project, demonstrating quantifiable agent ROI across a whopping 12 different domains. This isn't just theoretical, they're showing concrete impact. We're talking about a 30% reduction in genomics variant detection errors, a 20% decrease in write amplification for a distributed database, a tenfold improvement in quantum circuit error rates, and a 10.4% gain in logistics routing efficiency. These tasks, which used to take months for human experts, were solved in days by Alpha Evolve. For founders and product leaders, this demonstrates measurable value far beyond just automating software tasks. It signals a future where AI isn't just a tool but a true co-inventor, a partner in research and development. It also offers a very tangible template for how enterprises can start to calculate and prove the ROI of integrating these advanced AI agents. Moving to safety and transparency, Anthropic released new research on natural language autoencoders, which are revealing hidden reasoning traits within their large language models. This technique essentially translates the internal activations of a model, how it thinks or processes information, into human readable text. It's a bit like giving the model a voice to describe its internal state. This can surface things like evaluation awareness or even potential hidden motivations within the model. Now, it's early days, the technique is currently expensive and prone to hallucinations, meaning it sometimes makes things up. But for builders, especially those deploying AI in high stakes domains like healthcare, finance, or critical infrastructure, this is incredibly important. It's a powerful new tool for deep audits before deployment, reinforcing the need for continuous safety inspection that goes way beyond standard benchmarks. We need to know what these models are really doing, not just what they say they're doing. And finally, some policy news that impacts all of us building in Europe. The EU AI Act's provisional deal is officially delaying high risk rules until December 2027. This isn't a scrapping of the act, but the provisional agreement simplifies the overall package and extends the timelines for compliance. It's been described as a political win for businesses, and I'd agree. For builders, this adds some much needed breathing room for compliance planning. It could also signal a slightly lighter regulatory environment than initially feared, giving companies more time to adapt without facing immediate stringent requirements. Of course, the devil will be in the details of the final text, but for now, it's a bit of a reprieve. Now, for our deep dive today, I really want to focus on Amazon Bedrock agent code payments. This is the economic layer for autonomous agents, and it's a concept that's quietly revolutionary. What happened is that Amazon Bedrock has launched a preview that lets AI agents directly pay for things they need using micropayments via USDC, a stablecoin. This is powered by something called X402, and it leverages wallet infrastructure from Coinbase and Stripe. So imagine your AI agent needing to access a premium API, buy some real time market data, or even spin up a temporary server. Instead of relying on a pre authorized company credit card or a human to intervene, the agent itself can now execute that transaction directly within its operation. Why does this matter right now? Well, it opens up a whole new paradigm for what we're calling the agentic economy. For founders, it creates entirely new on demand business models. Instead of subscribing to a service, maybe your agent just pays for what it uses when it needs it. For existing products, it drastically reduces billing friction. Suddenly, a data provider doesn't need a complex subscription flow. They can just expose an endpoint that agents can pay for dynamically. So, who should really care about this? First, founders remain it and indie hackers. This is a greenfield opportunity. Think about building an agent that learns and evolves by buying access to new datasets or tools without human intervention. Next, the product managers. Your agents just got a massive capability upgrade. What new features can you enable if your AI can autonomously acquire resources for infrastructure engineers? This is a managed platform, so it takes away a lot of the headache of building secure payment rails for agents from scratch. As a builder, how would I think about this? This is fundamentally changing the mental model from agents are tools to agents are economic actors. The opportunities are massive. Imagine an agent that autonomously researches market trends, buys the latest data from a dozen different sources, and then leverages cloud compute it pays for by the second to generate a report, all without you lifting a finger after the initial setup. That's a powerful vision. But there are also clear risks. It's a preview, so it's early. There's stablecoin and regulatory uncertainty, especially with USDC. Adoption of X402 needs to become widespread for it to be truly useful. And then, of course, the security concerns when you combine autonomous payments with potentially unpredictable agent behavior. That's something we're all going to need to watch closely. My analogy here is giving your agent a corporate credit card. You'd set limits, monitor spending, and define very clear rules of engagement, right? My no BS take here. This isn't hype, this is a foundational piece of infrastructure for a future we're all moving towards. It has massive strategic implications, but it's still very early. Keep an eye on it, but don't bet your entire product roadmap on it just yet. If you're finding this useful, hit follow in your podcast app right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it's the best way to make sure you don't miss the next briefing. If you want one practical takeaway from today's episode, here it is. Experiment with OpenAI's new voice models and WebSocket API to prototype a voice agent in your team. Here's how to try it in under 60 minutes. First, sign up for access to OpenAI's real-time API. You'll need to make sure you have the right permissions and API keys. Second, grab a simple Python or Node.js client. There are likely community examples out there already. And set up a basic connection to the real-time API using WebSockets. Third, just start with a simple conversational flow. Build an agent that can answer a few questions or perform a basic tool call, like checking a calendar or fetching a specific piece of information. Benchmark the latency between this new WebSocket approach and the traditional HTTP request response model. you'll probably notice a significant difference. But why is this experiment worth your time right now? Because that 40% latency cut is a game changer for customer experience. If you're thinking about any customer facing voice interactions, whether it's in support, sales, or onboarding, this is the capability that can make or break the user's perception of your product. It helps you assess if real time stateful voice agents are now viable for your specific customer workflows rather than just being a futuristic idea. That's it for today's No BS AI briefing. If this helped, follow the show in your podcast app and share it with one builder you know. And if you've got questions or topics you want covered, connect with me on LinkedIn and send them over. See you in the next briefing.